Welcome, everybody. On behalf of Mercedes-Benz, it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you to our fourth sustainability update. My name is Renata Jungo Brüngger, member of the Board of Management, responsible for integrity, governance, and sustainability. We are delighted to have such a distinguished group of sustainability analysts and investors joining us from various corners of the globe. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Our presence here underscores the importance of our collective efforts and shared commitment to sustainability. We are confident that this sustainability update will provide you with valuable insights. We look forward to your active participation during the Q&A session at the end of the event. Unfortunately, Ola Källenius, Chairman of the Board of Management of Mercedes-Benz, can't join us in person today. However, it was highly important to him to get his message across. So he pre-recorded his speech to share his thoughts and insights. Please join me in welcoming Ola's video message.
Welcome, everybody. At our Capital Market Day in February, we gave an update on our products, technologies, and efficiency measures. Today, we will provide an update on our progress in terms of sustainability. This continues to be crucial for Mercedes-Benz. The current situation is characterized by the green transformation, macroeconomic uncertainties, and interplay of geopolitical tensions. One lever for decarbonizing individual mobility is electrification. However, the transformation will take longer than most people expected. As you can see here, the adoption of battery electric vehicles differs significantly from region to region. That has various reasons, from regulatory framework conditions to charging infrastructure and consumer sentiment. Our task is clear: reconciling competitiveness with our sustainability efforts. To make this happen, we're in close dialogue with political decision makers in the EU and beyond. In my role as ASEA President, I can promise you Europe's automotive industry is committed to decarbonization. Today, customers can choose from a range of electric and electrified vehicles that is larger than ever before, and there's a lot more to come. Going forward, we need a market-driven, realistic approach to decarbonizing our industry in Europe, in which the customer benefits from electric mobility. That's why we appreciate the EU proposal to fulfill the CO2 targets over a 3-year period. Both our industry and politicians share the responsibility of shaping a realistic path to 2035. The right framework conditions are absolutely essential to realizing our goals. We're doing our part. In 2019, we set a milestone with our Ambition 2039, aiming for a net carbon neutral new car fleet by the end of the next decade. It's a core element of our sustainable business strategy. What's more, we're pushing forward the green energy transition and working to decouple resource consumption from volume growth. This is our new CLA. It plays a vital role in delivering on our Ambition 2039. We have achieved a reduction in its carbon footprint of over 40% along the entire value chain compared to its non-electric predecessor. We're also making batteries more sustainable. The new battery generation reduces the CO2 footprint by 30% per cell. We will also build the CLA in a more sustainable way. Production in Rastatt is net carbon neutral and powered by 100% green electricity. We plan to build a car in China too. At BBAC, we aim to achieve a fully sustainable electricity supply by 2028. This leads me to a topic which is particularly important for our customers. The CLA is also sustainable when being driven. It is the most efficient series-built Mercedes-Benz ever, known as the 1-liter car of the electric age. It has an energy consumption of just 12.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The CLE has a range of up to 792 kilometers on a single charge according to WLTP. And according to the Chinese CLTC cycle, it can achieve over 850 kilometers. Charging the car will be a breeze, almost like fueling. You can recharge up to an extra 325 kilometers of range within just 10 minutes. This brings me to the next topic. We aim to ease the lives of our customers with fast, convenient charging solutions, whether on the go, at home, or at work. Mercedes-Benz provides access to one of the largest charging networks with over 2.3 million points. In the US, Canada, and Europe, we rely on a green energy supply within this network. If green energy is not available, we ensure that an equivalent amount of electricity from renewable sources is fed into the power grid for charging processes. The CLA also delivers on our promise in another strategic field, digitalization. It's a software-defined vehicle in which our new MB.OS operating system will debut. This provides next-level infotainment and comfort while ensuring data security for our customers. The CLA is a technological frontrunner in terms of driver assistance as well. It's equipped with 27 sensors and cameras. This is the key to bringing next-level ADAS to the road. And it makes Mercedes-Benz the first international OEM to launch a Level 2++ system in China. All in all, the CLA is highly competitive in every relevant area: efficiency, charging speed, and software. This car is an important strategic milestone in our product strategy, and it kicks off the greatest product launch program in the history of Mercedes-Benz. As illustrated on this chart, we will introduce dozens of new models over the next 3 years. We will continue to build the perfect Mercedes-Benz for every customer well into the 2030s. For BEVs, we will keep expanding our lineup and advancing the technology. And for ICEs, we will take efficiency to the next level. To realize the technological transformation, we need financial strength. That is why we have set up a comprehensive program to sustainably improve our competitiveness. Working on it together is key to remaining a reliable employer and extending the job security at our German sites until 2035. The best way, however, to safeguard a bright future is through leading products. Our ambition is to continue pushing technological boundaries. For almost 140 years, the Mercedes-Benz star has been a symbol of engineering excellence and trust. We will continue to deliver on that promise. Our approach goes far beyond our products. To be more precise, we have defined these 6 strategic focus areas. Renata Jungo Brüngger, Sabine Kohleisen, and Jörg now elaborate on. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Ola. Every trend eventually provokes a counter-movement. After 2 decades of dynamic growth and enthusiasm in the field of corporate sustainability, we are now experiencing a substantial backlash. Everyone is now wondering, what is the long-term equilibrium we can use as a premise for our strategic planning? Is the race to zero carbon cancelled, or it is merely taking a pause before the next rally? In our industry, as Ola pointed out already, we observe mixed signals. Different regional dynamics in the adoption of electromobility, diverse customer feedback, and varying policy approaches worldwide. We do not expect this pendulum to lose momentum anytime soon. The bottom line in our internal discussions at Mercedes-Benz is, despite all the noise, the underlying sustainability-related risks have not changed. We will continue to actively manage these risks in the most professional way. We are convinced that the future of mobility is electric, emission-free, and sustainable in a holistic way. In these turbulent times, we not only rely on our own assessment of shifting priorities and a dynamic risk landscape, but we also engage with critical minds around the globe. In our external advisory board for integrity and sustainability, we continue our engaged discussions on Mercedes-Benz future path in terms of sustainability. I am proud to welcome 2 new members to this round. Professor Kai Niebert from the University Zurich and President of the German League for Nature and Environment, and Professor Hermann Ott from Eberswalde University for Sustainable Development. Additionally, it is important for us to engage with society. During the last 12 months, we held our Mercedes-Benz sustainability dialogues in China, India, New York, and of course again at our headquarters in Stuttgart and near our battery production site in Dresden. Without a doubt, policies and regulations play a decisive role in sustainable development, also in the automotive industry. We are engaged in trusted dialogue with political leaders around the world, in national capitals and on the EU level, and in many cities and communities where we operate. Lately, we have engaged intensively with the European Commission in the so-called strategic dialogue to bring forward an automotive industrial action plan that includes our position on free trade, a level playing field for all market participants, technological flexibility, and a commitment to market-based decarbonization. And maybe most importantly, we engage intensively with our employees on all questions relevant for the future of the company. The bottom line is, our industry sustainable transformation is well underway, and the long-term target picture has not changed. We do, however, expect significant distractions and deterrents along the way in the coming years. The capital market, and in particular the sustainability community in this call today, seems to share this assessment. Sustainability-related risks and opportunities continue to be taken very seriously, regardless of some of the noises we are currently seeing. How well we tackle these risks, even with the information we provide in various reports, is difficult to assess. But our scores confirm our method is working. In 2024, our MSCI and Sustainalytics scores improved, and we maintained a strong position in ISS and CDP. Notably, our Sustainalytics score has further improved within the low-risk category. Beyond ratings, Mercedes-Benz has been recognized in leading sustainability rankings, securing first place among OEMs and 11th place in the TAX 40 in Handelsblatt's sustainability ranking. Additionally, the World Benchmarking Alliance, Amnesty International, and Rainforest Foundation Norway have ranked us among the top sustainability performers within the industry. Compared to our peers, we remain one of the highest-rated automotive companies across multiple sustainability indicators. Our progress in governance has also been recognized. Mercedes-Benz achieved an overall rank of 3 and the top position among OEMs in the DYFA Corporate Governance Scorecard 2024. These achievements reflect our unwavering commitment to our sustainability business strategy, driven by continuous progress and the dedication of our entire Mercedes-Benz team. As leading climate scientist, Johan Rockström, member of our advisory board, put it in last year's conference. Sustainability is not a sideshow. It is the main show in the struggle for long-term competitiveness of industry players. That's why we long started to integrate sustainability into our corporate strategy. For each strategic pillar, we defined relevant sustainability targets. We also established solid processes to integrate sustainability in our day-to-day decision-making, especially in high-impact areas, like in our main product steering board. In the past 12 months since our last event, we sharpened our sustainability business strategy with now 6 sustainability focus areas, encompassing environmental, social, and governance aspects in a holistic way. This was the result of a comprehensive analysis taking into account the perspective of relevant stakeholder groups. For each focus area, the sustainable business strategy has been operationalized for effective implementation by defining specific KPIs targets. These KPIs, including short and long-term remuneration and measures achieved by a group board of management. The supervisory board is also regularly informed on the regulatory and strategic sustainability-related issues. All these measures underline our ongoing commitment to sustainability in a transforming world. The 6 identified focus areas of our sustainable business strategy will guide us through today's sustainability update. First, decarbonization. One of the most important strategic ambitions of Mercedes-Benz is to lay the foundations for carbon neutral stages of the value entire life cycle. Some insight with resource use and Jörg details short with a focus. Share some insights into our 3rd and 4th pillars, traffic safety and digital trust, before Sabine will go into more detail on the 5th people pillar. Finally, I will close with a deep dive on the 6th pillar, human rights. With this, I'm delighted to hand over to Jörg.
Hello everybody, my name is Jörg Burzer and I'm responsible for Mercedes-Benz operations, production quality and supply chain management. After Ola and Renata told us about our sustainable business strategy, I would like to give you an update on our progress in the area of decarbonization and use of resources within Mercedes-Benz operations. In 2024, we made good progress delivering on our sustainability plans, which is good not just from an ecological point of view, but also from a business perspective. Let me outline the economic benefits of enhancing sustainability. We increased energy efficiency and thereby reduced our exposure to higher energy prices. We made ourselves more resilient by expanding renewable energy production at our own locations. And we reduced waste and enabled circularity wherever possible. But first, I would like to give you an overview on the production of our new CLA, our first model based on the Mercedes modular architecture. We produce the CLA at our plant in Rastatt, where ICE and BEV models are made on the same line. allowing flexibility in production to follow market demand. Production in Rastatt is net carbon neutral, and the plant is supplied with 100% green energy from on-site photovoltaic systems and external green electric supply. During the integration of the new model into the existing production, many improvements were implemented to reduce energy. For example, a new generation of energy-saving robots used in the body shop. Also new resource-saving cleaning technologies for skids, and an artificial intelligence-based control technology in the paint shop. In total, the energy consumption in production was reduced by 15% compared to the predecessor model. All this leads to a more efficient production in a more sustainable way. Let's take a closer look at decarbonization. We remain committed to our road to zero and our shift towards a CO2-free energy supply of our global production network, and this is well underway. Since 2018, we cut our CO2 emissions at Mercedes-Benz cars production by 75% for Scope 1 and 2. And we are sticking to our goal of cutting CO2 by 80% until 2030 and 100% by 2039. Thanks to 100% green electricity, all our own Mercedes-Benz plants worldwide have been producing net carbon neutral since 3 years. And we are on track to shifting our heat supply from fossil fuel-based energy sources to renewables. For example, we are building a next-generation paint shop in Sindelfingen, which is far more efficient in its energy consumption. Construction work has just started, and the groundbreaking event is scheduled for next week. We are executing our strategy to expand renewable energy generation in our own plants, a hedge against the rising costs of CO2 and electricity. Let's look at our progress for increasing our share of renewable energy. 50% of our total energy demand at our Mercedes-Benz car production came from renewable sources in 2024. This is set to rise to 70% by 2030 and to 100% by 2039. We are on track to meet our target of up to 140 megawatt peak solar power until end of 2025 at our own sites worldwide. Our latest project is in our plant in Hungary. The installation of more than 30 megawatt peak of solar power, our biggest installation in Europe. Construction of our wind park in Papenburg with a peak capacity of 120 megawatt with our partner UKA will commence as soon as additional 40 megawatt from the Wind Anchor offshore wind park in the Baltic Sea by 2027. Recently, our partner Iberdrola received the approval statement for the construction of the wind park. 50% of our electricity demand in Germany will be covered by just those 2 projects. Why is that good? Expansion of our green electricity portfolio will lead us to an improved price position for electricity and make us more resilient toward volatile energy prices. To further reduce volatility, we are investing in energy storage, a new redox flow energy storage system with a capacity of around 11 megawatt hour together with CM Blue, a German clean tech startup at our Rastatt plant. In addition to expanding renewables, we are executing on our strategy to improve sustainability and costs by becoming more efficient in the way we use energy. In short, we cut energy costs in production by reducing consumption. We plan to reduce it by 25% until 2030 compared to 2024, less than 2 megawatt hours per vehicle, including powertrain production. In total, we have reduced energy consumption of our plants by more than 300 gigawatt hours for the second time in a row. Our activities include heat recovery from exhaust and wastewater and more intelligent use of energy through digitalization. This means intelligent measurement and artificial intelligence control. This reduction saved a double-digit million euro amount. Coming to logistics. As part of our Ambition 2039 for Mercedes-Benz cars, we aim to reduce CO2 emissions by 60% compared to 2021. Our sustainability strategy focuses on CO2 avoidance and on the reduction of emissions for all modes of transport. But to be honest, logistics is challenging. Avoidance of CO2 emissions is focused on localization, optimization of transport routes, or shift truck to train. Reduction is focused on technologies like e-trucks or alternative fuels like sustainable aviation fuel for air transport, biofuel for sea transport, and e-fuel for road transport. To give you just some examples in numbers. In air transport, we achieved savings of more than 50,000 tons CO2. In sea transport, we were able to reduce CO2 emissions by more than 30,000 tons using biofuel. In road transport, we installed the first long-distance transport by e-truck with our partner Gallica, transporting finished cars from Rastatt to Brüngger on a distance of 600 kilometers. Now, let's have a look at what Mercedes-Benz Operations has done to conserve resources and enhance circularity. Our ambition is to decouple resource consumption from volume growth, relying on an optimized use of resources and circularity. Our objective is to embed circularity into our vehicles' entire lifespan, from design to end of life, and increase the share of secondary raw materials in Mercedes-Benz cars. Further, we are committed to scaling back resource inflows and waste outflows. Let me give you an example for our brand new CLA inflows. During development, great emphasis was placed on using as many secondary materials as possible. As a result, the amount of secondary material in thermoplastics at the overall vehicle level was quadrupled in the CLA compared to its predecessor. Concerning waste outflow, we have a recovery rate of approximately 99%. We enhance our recycling rate by reducing waste for disposal by approximately 38% in 2024. An example for that is digitalization of the disposal processes by implementing a waste tracker for identification and measurement of our waste. This is saving disposal costs through transparency. In our plants, in our European plants, for example in Sindelfingen, with only 250 gram waste for disposal, it's the same weight like this apple here, we are very, very close to our Ambition 2039, zero waste for disposal. Let's have a special look at our activities on batteries. One of the most important levers to conserve primary resources is the establishment of a real circular economy. Mercedes-Benz is taking a holistic approach: rethink, reduce, repair, and recycle. Development of high-performance cells, new chemical combinations, and economic manufacturing processes are the activities at our new e-campus in Stuttgart and the starting point of the circular concept of Mercedes-Benz. The company offers remanufactured batteries for all electric vehicles as replacement parts. In addition, our subsidiary Mercedes-Benz Energy has established a successful business model with stationary large-scale storage applications. Obviously, material recycling is at the end of a battery's life. It is key to close the battery loop. With the opening of our battery recycling plant in Kuppenheim, southern Germany, we made an important step last year. It is first of its kind in Europe and operates in a net carbon neutral manner. With a new combined mechanical hydrometallurgical process, we get a recovery rate of more than 96%. The recovered materials will be fed back into the battery loop. To make it short, we are closing the loop on batteries. If we are talking about the responsible use of resources, water management needs to be taken into consideration too. To make it clear, only 3% of water on our planet is drinking water. That's why we set ourselves the goal to use no drinking water in production processes by 2039. And by 2030, we want to cut our overall water usage by 50% compared to 2023. We focus on saving water by building closed water cycles and using efficient cooling technologies in our plants. Let me give you some details about the implementation of wastewater recycling concepts in our production. In Sindelfingen, we started with our first installation with a technical capacity of 350,000 cubic meters per year. After pilot test last year, we decided to implement wastewater recycling in Stuttgart with a technical capacity of 500,000 cubic meters per year. We made also a decision to implement a multi-reuse water concept in Bremen. With this project, we achieve overall savings of more than 1 million cubic meters starting in 2029. To translate that into money, these are savings of more than 2 million euro per year. To sum it up, you can see we are fully on track and have made big steps forward. We are in execution mode. Sustainability is not only an ecological topic for us, it's also an economic one. Cutting CO2 emissions by replacing fossil energy with renewable energy makes us resilient toward future CO2 costs, regulations, and taxes. The expansion of our green electricity portfolio will lead us for electricity toward volatile energy. Energy efficiency are important production costs. For clear plan, water and waste portion in production until 2030. So I hope I could give all the many steps we are taking to improve sustainability in production and to underscore that ecology and economy go hand in hand. Thank you for your attention, and back to Renata.
Thank you, Jörg. Allow me now to continue with traffic safety. Our ambition is to build the safest vehicles in the world. This also includes pushing existing boundaries in passive safety. For example, we were the first manufacturer in the world to publicly subject 2 BEVs to a frontal impact crash test, with outstanding results. We were also the first manufacturer in the world to succeed in X-raying a complete crash test. Also, our active driver assistance systems and automated driving in general make driving safer. When developing such technologies, we pursue a holistic approach, taking ethical and societal aspects into account. In line with our ambition, we have a clear roadmap for the development and introduction of automated driving systems and are true pioneers in this field. We were the first manufacturer to successfully introduce a Level 3 system in Germany and in the US. In Germany, we have already presented the next drive pilot version with 95 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest system in the world. Our ambition is to reach 130 kilometers per hour by the end of the decade. Research and development activities also take social and ethical aspects into account. For example, Mercedes-Benz has already developed special turquoise market lights for conditionally automated driving that indicate the operating status of Drive Pilot. The company considers it important to signal to other road users that the conditionally automated driving function is activated. Furthermore, we are already working on a level 4 driving system in Beijing, which can also be used in urban settings. We have already received the test approval from the Chinese authorities for this. So far, we have covered the higher levels of automation. However, we know that our established driver assistance systems have a huge positive impact on traffic safety for all road users. Why? Because the systems help to maintain a safe distance, promote a defensive driving style, and improve the efficiency of autonomous impressive L2+ and L2++ systems with our CLA offering greater driving comfort to our customers. Our goal is to make our cars and traffic safer for everybody. All our development efforts bolster our position as a true pioneer in active and passive safety technologies. Now, turning to digital trust. Artificial intelligence is certainly one of the most promising technologies of our time, and investments to keep up in the global race are impressive. A few weeks back, the AI Action Summit took place in Paris, with Mercedes-Benz participating. There was a great enthusiasm about the vast opportunities of AI. At the same time, the regulatory environment is dynamic with geopolitical complexities. On the other hand, governments introduce new AI regulations to address risks and to claim to enhance AI competitiveness and trust in the technology, while companies call for reduced administrative burdens. These contrasting positions create challenging circumstances for Mercedes-Benz. However, we need to ensure compliance with relevant legal requirements in an adaptive and opportunity-oriented governance approach. Trust is therefore a necessary condition for sustainable and competitive business success. The umbrella of digital trust encompasses 4 strategic focus areas: the responsible handling of data and AI, cybersecurity, and digital literacy. Last year, we engaged with committee representatives and experts who acknowledged the significance of trust in global digital transformation, and our digital trust concept was positively recognized as essential. So, what are the next stages on this journey? We declared digital literacy as one of the strategic focus topics in 2025. Allow me to explain why. Building digital trust requires a well-balanced digital mindset that weighs the opportunities of new technologies against potential risks. For our employees, a digital mindset is fundamental for leveraging innovation and developing it with a strong sense of responsibility. And we are not starting from scratch, but continue our activities in digital literacy. For example, in the course of our Gen AI journey over the past months, tens of thousands of colleagues worldwide at Mercedes-Benz have explored generative AI, enhancing their digital competence in the responsible handling of AI, identifying AI applications in daily work, and discussing potential AI risks. Another example of our efforts is the digital transformation of our production network through AI integration. Our AI-driven virtual assistants and digital factory chatbot ecosystem allow easy real-time data analysis and effective problem-solving. This greatly improves production efficiency and quality. Of course, it is crucial to ensure employees are well educated about the AI's functionalities, its chances, and boundaries. This enables the responsible use of smart technologies and fosters the development of a digital mindset. For our customers, a digital mindset serves as a compass, guiding them towards a positive experience with our products. Let me illustrate one example. Our data protection landing page is currently being completely revised. The redesigned website will provide transparency to customers on data usage as well as privacy at Mercedes-Benz, including detailed instructions on setting options accompanied by answers to frequently asked questions. This example underlines the importance of a positive cycle of trust in technology. By fostering an understanding of the technology, customers gain confidence in using new digital features and services. In turn, this acts as a catalyst for a positive cycle of trust, as increased trust leads to increased usage, resulting in improved digital products and services. As we look ahead at the digital trust journey, I'm confident that each of us can cultivate a digital mindset and inspire others to follow. This strong foundation will enable us to address the digital transformation challenges currently and in the future. As I outlined before, our employees are playing an essential role to drive the transformation. Therefore, I'm delighted to hand over to Sabine Kohleisen and Christina Schenk, who talk about our people pillar.
Thank you, Renata, and a very warm welcome from my side as well. My name is Christina Schenk, and I'm heading Investor Relations and Treasury at Mercedes-Benz. Ola already mentioned it. To remain successful in the future, we have to continuously work on our competitiveness and our resilience. That's why we carefully prioritize our funding and intensify our efforts to reduce cost. One element of that is personnel cost. I would like to explore this further with Sabine Kohleisen, member of the Board of Management for Mercedes-Benz Group AG and responsible for human relations. Welcome, Sabine.
Thank you, Christina.
Sabine, we've read a lot this month about intensifying our efforts and increasing efficiency with an extensive set of personnel measures and also flexibility to that extent. Can you please comment on your HR strategy and what decisions have been taken in that regard?
Thank you, Christina, and a warm welcome also from my side. We derived our HR work from a sustainable business strategy, and the core of our HR work are our three pillars: reshape, reskill, and recharge. Those three pillars which I elaborated on in former sustainability dialogues before. And it wouldn't be a sustainable strategy if we would skip those three pillars now. So we continued to work on them. And the basis of our HR work is to drive transformation, future-oriented, very responsible social responsibility to make the just transition happen for our company. But coming back to your question, Christina, Now we look at the pillar reshape, and in those times, reshape is a lot of providing instruments, providing measures that the company is getting leaner, faster, and we also have a look into our personnel costs. So we didn't do that only for Germany, but as we have a significant footprint in Germany, we went into intense negotiations with our Workers' Council. And the goal was to make us weatherproof, to make us more resilient, and to really also save costs. So we tried to achieve a very balanced approach in those negotiations. Contributions from the company, contributions from the employees, but also from the management. And let me start with the contributions from the employees in the tariff area. First of all, we are only passing on half of the agreed wage increases. This means that the salaries will rise, but more moderately than originally planned and originally negotiated. Secondly, from 2025 to 2027, the yearly additional tariff allowances, which are called T-Zug in the German termini, will be converted into additional leave days for all employees. This T-Zug is a yearly tariff allowance where employees can choose between additional leave days or additional payments. So this will also save us resources. Thirdly, for the fiscal year 2026, we've deliberately decided not to make any profit-sharing agreements for the employees for now. And to be more flexible, we negotiated higher quotas for flexible work, and we will increase also our outsourcing activities, also in indirect areas and functional areas. And last but not least, we will start a voluntary severance program specifically targeted for the administrative areas. These steps are necessary for us to become more efficient and more flexible. But also management will contribute to these efficiencies. So first of all, there will be no salary increase for management in this year. Secondly, we already have, but will continue to cut disproportionately the number of management positions to become a leaner company with better decision-making processes. And of course, we will most likely see a relevant decrease in our variable pay components in 2025 based on our very performance-oriented management compensation regime. All of these measures are part of a larger efficiency program across all different areas, which is called NLP, Next Level Performance, and that focuses on various areas, also on cost, but not only on cost, and also on personal cost, and not only on personal cost. This will contribute to making the company more efficient.
Thank you, Sabine. You mentioned that you're managing the reorganization in a fair and responsible manner. Could you please elaborate on that?
Yes. I also said that we were trying to have a very balanced approach and that there should also be something from the company for the employees to bring in their contributions. So at the beginning, it was very clear that this has to be done in a social responsible way to also have the engagement of the employees in this process. And after the negotiation, the company was able, because the things brought to the table from the employees are really significant, we were able to extend our job security until the year 2034, which seems to be a long time. But we were confident that with the engagement of our employees and the belief in the team and in Mercedes-Benz, we are really able to make this a successful future. But nevertheless, it's only one measure, and it requires hard day-to-day work to really overcome all the challenges that appear at the horizon and continue to do so. And it's an expression of our confidence in the team's strength. And Mercedes-Benz has in its DNA to always find solutions with the Workers' Council, with the employees in difficult situations. And we are convinced that the extension of the job security is such a symbol.
Thank you. Another question from my side. With a clear focus on cost efficiency, Sabine, how do you balance the cost-saving measures with the goal of remaining an attractive employer?
Well, not only do we talk about costs, but we keep on investing in our employees and in our talents. And you might remember that we have started in 2022 our initiative Turn to Learn, where we will invest from 2022 to 2030 a lot of money, more than 2 billion euros. And if we look back to 2024, we already had 2.5 million learning hours worldwide. So this initiative in terms of really enhancing the learning culture is for us very important and also part of our overall HR strategy. We believe learning and qualification is not only important, but the key to success in this transformation. So from these Turn to Learn initiatives, we have derived different other measures. So if you look at the development of future skills, we provide curated learning paths for those functions who have very future-oriented skill needs. We also have, and Renata was talking about that, initiated a great initiative last year to provide learning journeys regarding digitalization, specifically for the leaders, but also for all employees. And nevertheless, there are also specific profiles, our digital pioneers, which I've talked also in the past about, where we really try to not only find curated learning paths, but reskill and upskill specific employee groups into new jobs, into new job profiles. And we will continue to do so.
A key factor for being an attractive employer, Sabine, is the working environment. What are the steps we are taking as a company to create these conditions?
Well, I think it's very important to have a modern, an inclusive, and innovative environment. And this is basically our third pillar, the pillar recharge. So what do? We are investing in technologies, but also in infrastructure to make work more efficient and more enjoyable. We introduce agile collaboration models, specifically in development and in the software environment. And we have also flexible working models and also modern office and production environments. I think that is the foundation to really be successful and to also foster strong collaboration. This year, we will also have our employee survey, which is going to focus on employee satisfaction, but also on employee engagement, and where we derive on a regular manner measures, activities, and initiatives to really foster and enhance the engagement of our employees. Nevertheless, as part of our transformation, we are also streamlining administrative processes because we are convinced we have to really become faster. And as I mentioned, NLP as an overall program to really enhance the competitiveness of the company, there is also one pillar which is called winning attitude. And in this pillar, we are really looking into the way we work together, our collaboration models, our performance mindset, cultural things of really increasing the speed of decision making, but also mindset questions in terms of how does this company become even better. And so this is an integral part of the NLP initiative as well, and is also contributing to recharge.
Thank you so much, Sabine. Thank you for your valuable insights. I would be handing back to Renata for the last presentation for today before we start our Q&A session.
Thank you, Christina. Next, I'd like to provide you with a short update on the progress that we made regarding our supply chain due diligence. Last year, I used the picture of a winding route of regulations to show how crucial the right processes, methods, and projects were for navigating the dynamic regulatory landscape. Since then, the situation hasn't become easier. On the contrary, on our winding road, there are no storms brewing on the horizon. We find ourselves in a world where the political climate has intensified, new economic challenges are arising, and various legal uncertainties need to be handled. This has significant impacts on our company, which in the worst case could potentially lead to supply chain disruptions. By proactively identifying and addressing different kinds of risks in our value chain, we avoid possible hazards and support the protection of our company. This also applies to human rights risks. At Mercedes-Benz, regulations were not the motivating factor for us to start protecting human rights. And therefore, we will also not stop considering human rights in times of political and judicial uncertainties. Protecting human rights is and remains a cornerstone of our sustainable business strategy. This means staying committed, especially when Mercedes-Benz and the whole industry faces significant headwinds. Additionally, our efforts are recognized externally. Last year, we again received positive external recognition from different rankings and benchmarks, such as Lead the Charge or Amnesty International. These good results and leading positions reinforce that we are on the right track and motivate us to continue our efforts and ambitions to remain a front runner in the industry. A Mercedes must be produced under high ethical and environmental standards. And that includes the responsible sourcing of the materials and services we use as we move towards an all-electric future. But as said before, the work is about more than just ethics and responsibility. It's also about building a resilient supply chain to prevent harm from our company. As a global company with complex and far-reaching supply chains, we are aware of the challenges and risks associated with sourcing raw materials. Our procurement department identified 24 critical raw materials associated with high human rights and environmental risks, including aluminium, cobalt, and lithium, and we are committed to fully analyzing these risks. By 2028, we intend to define appropriate measures for 100% of our raw materials that pose an increased risk for human rights violations. We again made significant progress last year, and with 65% overachieved our assessment target of 60%. This step-by-step approach ensures that we identify the most critical areas, make our supply chains more transparent, conduct audits, implement mitigation measures where necessary, and effectively monitor our actions. In November last year, we documented this effort in our 2024 Mercedes-Benz raw material report. We also continue to make the progress of our raw material assessments a part of our executive remuneration. This again underlines how serious we take this issue. By creating transparency, identifying risks early, and taking proactive measures, we are fully committed to respecting human rights. And we also bolster our supply chains and our business operations, especially in an increasingly volatile geopolitical environment. Since we truly believe that adequate due diligence thrives on collaboration, we engage with rights holders, NGOs, and other stakeholders to challenge and bolster our approaches and continuously improve. This open dialogue ensures that we remain both ambitious and grounded in reality. Let me give you a concrete example. Aluminium is used, among others, for our wheels and batteries and is increasingly gaining importance. By reducing the overall vehicle weight, it can make a significant contribution to improving fuel efficiency and decreasing carbon emissions. Yet, this raw material is associated with certain human rights risks, including working conditions, the rights of communities and indigenous peoples, but also environmental risks. To address these risks, we have taken several actions. Last year, we expanded our strategic partnership with our aluminium supplier, Hydro. We jointly initiated a program together with 3 Brazilian civil society organizations aimed at improving the livelihoods and living conditions in a poverty-driven region of the Brazilian Amazon. The main goal of the Corridor program is to assume a joint responsibility to leave a positive legacy of the industrial presence in the Para region. This includes empowering local communities at the beginning of the supply chain to achieve better economic, environmental and social outcomes and to ensure their participation in decision-making processes. By investing in sustainable infrastructure and social initiatives, we reduce the risk of human rights violations before they arise. Now, let's turn to what happens when risks materialize. We have an assessment process that allows us to act swiftly. At Mercedes-Benz, we follow the principle of empowerment before withdrawal, aligning with the recommendations of NGOs, because we believe that improving the status quo has more impact than taking the easiest route of withdrawing from certain regions and countries. Also, at the individual supplier level, we strive to collaborate with them to address findings instead of quickly excluding suppliers when issues arise. And while the exclusion of supply chain participants is always the last resort, it remains a final measure when our due diligence requirements are not met. And this has been the case in the aluminium sector, where we have excluded supply chain actors that are not fulfilling our high standards. This demonstrates not only the strength of our approach, but also how seriously we take our responsibility. It helps our company to prepare for and align with various regulatory requirements and meets our own internal ethical standards as described in our principles on social responsibility and human rights, which will be updated soon. The Corridor program is just one example that shows how collaboration with external partners can truly give rise to promising initiatives and help us to tackle risks in various settings. We are aware that a single company cannot solve all issues on its own. That is why Mercedes-Benz collaborates with various partners to promote sector-wide solutions. This is especially important since human rights are such a broad, complex topic with many risks also beyond mining and extractions. Besides production material, we also see risks in the procurement of non-production material. For example, the service sector is often associated with human rights risks, including poor working conditions, such as long working hours and delayed or unpaid wages. Also, the logistics sector is an important part of our value chain. There is no doubt for us that every person who directly or indirectly contributes to bring our vehicles to the market should do so under conditions that respect human rights. Here, close collaboration with partners is key. That's why we joined the newly convened Roundtable of Road Transport Logistics, which was initiated by the German Federal Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs and the GIZ. The initiative emerged in response to the trucker protests in Germany in 2023, where truck drivers were protesting against poor working conditions and unpaid wages. This multi-stakeholder initiative aims to achieve a common understanding of the risk situation and conditions of the road transport logistics in Germany, as well as the identification of suitable prevention and remediation measures. I am sure that this project will help to further improve measures and processes in road transport logistics for the protection of human rights. Lastly, I would also like to provide you an update concerning our engagement to establish a cross-sectoral grievance mechanism in Mexico. Since the launch, a lot of work has been done, together with other companies and in close collaboration with civil societies. Coordination units have been established, IT infrastructure is in place, and channels are open for submitting complaints. Several complaints have already been submitted and processed, which proves its effectiveness. The inauguration of the sector-wide grievance mechanism, MRDH, demonstrates what is possible when companies join forces and involve civil society organizations from the very beginning. However, the future success of the project requires additional partners, which is why we strongly encourage additional companies to participate. The example shows how diverse the risks are that we encounter in our highly complex supply chains. At the same time, they illustrate how equally diverse the measures are to effectively mitigate risks. By proactively identifying and tackling risks in our value chain, we continuously improve the situation for people working directly and indirectly for our company. Further, this contributes to the resilience of our supply chains. We create real impact by setting high standards, engaging in meaningful partnerships, and taking responsibilities for the workers in our value chain. We actively engage on the ground and increase the effectiveness of mining standards by holding several board seats in raw material initiatives, such as in the Initiative for Responsible Mining Assurance. The promotion of sustainable and robust supply chains remains key for our business continuity, the protection of our brand, as well as the identification of new opportunities, also and especially in challenging times. Thank you, and back to you, Christina, for the Q&A session.